Hello, darlings. You're welcome to Z-Star Africa, your home of sizzling drama updates. This week on Jhanak, secrets explode and emotions spiral out of control. As marriages fall apart, unexpected living arrangements spark intense feelings, and vows of revenge threaten to destroy everything. Can love survive betrayal? Share your thoughts in the comments. Like and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any sizzling updates. Now let's dive in. October 1st, 2025. The episode begins with Anirudh asking Jhanak whether she trusts him. Jhanak asks Anirudh why she won't trust him when she has totally submitted her life to him. Anirudh tells her they are married. Jhanak tells him society doesn't value that marriage. Anirudh tells her they should value the feelings they have for each other. Jhanak tells him they are part of society, so they have to accept society's rules. She says she doesn't want society to think badly about him. Anirudh tells her they have one life, and they should not care what society thinks. Jhanak asks him to stop because his talks make her emotionally weak. Anirudh says he knows he's her weakness and wants to see how long she can hold back. He hugs her and says she has no idea what he's been through. Jhanak tells him she knows he stood against everyone for her and has cried alone. He says fate brought them together, which is why he landed at that bar. Jhanak asks why he went there, and Anirudh admits he was drowning in pain and needed a way to escape. He says he can't bear to lose her. She asks why he gave up like that. She can't stand seeing him this broken. Anirudh accuses her of not loving him. That's why she left. He asks her to promise she won't leave again. Jhanak agrees to stay for a few days. They quietly think back to their old memories and share a long look. Elsewhere, Choton tells Mrinalini that she sees him differently now. Mrinalini says she just wanted to show he's capable of studying. Choton feels she was trying to make him like her. He believes a degree doesn't define a person. Mrinalini still thinks education is important. Choton says studying at this stage in life isn't easy, and he only agreed to give exams because it made her happy. She tells him not to do anything just for her sake. They drop the topic. Choton calls himself a simple man. Mrinalini says everyone needs a goal. It's hard to live with someone who doesn't have one. She admits it hurts her when his family insults him and asks if it doesn't affect him. Choton says he's not weak, and he only married her under pressure. Mrinalini points out the difference between being educated and not. Choton says they're not equals, and she asks why he won't prove himself. He believes even if he studies, he still won't earn respect. But he's determined to give the exams, just not with her help. Jhanak later tells Anirudh she can't be happy knowing she took Arshi's happiness. Anirudh says Arshi is spending time with Siddharth and seems to have moved on. He's not stopping her because he wants her to be happy. He adds that Arshi is just doing this to hurt Jhanak. Jhanak finds it hard to believe. Anirudh says Arshi doesn't love him anymore, and neither does he love her. Jhanak makes him sit and tells him to rest. He lies down on her lap and says he just wants a peaceful sleep. He asks if they can marry if Arshi agrees to divorce. Jhanak says she's scared. It's a big step. Anirudh says he'll support her and give her the respect she deserves as his wife. He asks her to say yes. Jhanak says she'll agree only if Arshi truly lets go. He hugs her. Next morning, Jhanak wakes up with Anirudh still asleep on her lap. Dottie tells Mrinalini that Arshi is still Anirudh's wife, so it's not right for him to be with Jhanak. Mrinalini says Jhanak needs his support. She also talks about her argument with Choton. Tanuja asks Bipasha to bring Arshi. When Bipasha goes to her room, she finds a sleeping pill bottle near Arshi. She panics and calls everyone. The family rushes in. Bipasha checks her pulse. October 2nd, 2025. This episode starts with Bipasha checking Arshi's pulse. Turns out, she's still alive. Shub quickly calls for an ambulance. Amid the chaos, Anjana asks Mrinalini to inform Choton, while Tanuja urges Shub to call Shrishti. Once on the line, Shub breaks the news of Arshi's suicide attempt. Shrishti, furious, warns him that if anything happens to Arshi, she won't spare Anirudh. Shub tries to calm her, says help is on the way, and ends the call. Tanuja admits she's scared, while Mimi bluntly claims this was Arshi's way of getting back at Anirudh and Jhanak. Tanuja shuts her down and tells Shub to call Anirudh. Back at home, Jhanak notices Shub calling Anirudh and wakes him up. He refuses to answer, but once he sees Mrinalini calling, he picks up. She informs him about Arshi and tells him to rush to the hospital. Anirudh tells Jhanak what happened and asks her to stay home. Jhanak promises she won't go anywhere, but worries things might spiral into a legal mess. Anirudh says all he did was ask for a divorce, and that's not a crime. Jhanak starts questioning why Arshi would do something so extreme, especially if she already had feelings for someone else. Still, she decides not to stand in the way if Arshi truly wants to be with Anirudh. At the hospital, Shub pleads with the doctor to save Arshi. Bipasha hands over the empty sleeping pill bottle. The doctor advises informing the police. Bipasha mutters that police involvement might finally rid them of Jhanak for good. Anirudh heads downstairs, ready to leave. Jhanak reminds him to eat since he skipped meals the day before. He smiles, tells her that's exactly why she's special, and insists Arshi's actions are just revenge tactics. He kisses her forehead before walking out. At the hospital, Shrishti is fuming. She scolds Shub for not waiting and bringing Arshi to this hospital. Vinayak and Tanuja try to calm her down. Shrishti lashes out, convinced Anirudh is with Jhanak. Bipasha says he's on the way. A junior doctor appears and says Arshi needs life support and asks where her husband is. Siddharth calls Shrishti to check on Arshi. She tells him Arshi isn't stable and Anirudh hasn't arrived yet. Siddharth promises to take care of it. When Anirudh finally walks in, Choton informs him that Arshi is in the ICU. Anjana warns him that the police might show up. Shrishti, in full dramatic mode, taunts him on arrival. Shub questions his delay. A doctor asks Anirudh to sign documents and says Arshi might regain consciousness soon. Anirudh asks to see her, but Shrishti blocks him, declaring the police will handle him now. Vinayak wants to know what Anirudh said to Arshi the night before. Shrishti goes off, accusing him of playing games with people's lives. She makes it clear she won't let him off the hook if Arshi doesn't make it. Lalan arrives, only to get an earful from both Shrishti and Shub. Jhanak, still at home, wonders whether to call Anirudh. She dials his number but hangs up, assuming he's busy. At the hospital, Bipasha hints that Jhanak must have called. Shub and Tanuja continue to scold Anirudh. Shrishti claims he's obsessed with Jhanak while her own daughter Arshi is fighting for her life. Vinayak reminds her Jhanak is her daughter too. Shrishti fires back, comparing Jhanak to Brij Bhushan. Siddharth shows up. Shrishti thanks him, and he asks about Arshi's condition. She tells him she's on life support. When Siddharth questions why they didn't take her to a better hospital, Anirudh tells him to stay out of their business. Siddharth claps back, saying Anirudh should start acting like a husband and mentions that Arshi once told him Anirudh's family is a circus. That stings. He suggests that if Anirudh is cheating, he should divorce Arshi properly. Mrinalini steps in, warning Siddharth to stay away from family issues. Siddharth doesn't back down, saying just being married doesn't make someone a husband. October 3rd, 2025. This episode starts with the doctor informing the junior that Arshi is out of danger and doesn't need life support. The junior points out that the sleeping pills she took weren't too strong. The doctor says they just need to wait for her to regain consciousness. Tanuja asks Shub if the police might arrest them too. Shub reassures her. There's no reason for that to happen, not even for Anirudh. He says all the blame will fall on Jhanak anyway. Siddharth introduces himself to Vinayak and questions why Arshi is still being allowed to stay at the Bose house. He says it's unfair to Arshi, who's in love with Anirudh, while Anirudh clearly loves someone else. Why should Arshi suffer for that? Anjana mentions she needs to give medicines to Dadi and Amitabh. Lalan offers to take her home and leaves with her. Anirudh then asks Choton if he really seems like the kind of guy Siddharth described. Choton says they know him better than that. Anirudh explains he never wanted to marry Arshi and wonders why she even went through with all this if she didn't love him either. Mrinalini calls Arshi egoistic, saying she couldn't handle being rejected for Jhanak. She adds that only Jhanak truly loves him. Just then, the doctor steps in and confirms Arshi is fine but needs rest. She suggests someone stay with her, maybe Anirudh. Later, Shrishti sees Siddharth holding flowers and tells him that Arshi loves them, and she'll be happy to see him. Shrishti heads inside and hugs Arshi. Siddharth follows with the bouquet, and Arshi thanks him. Shrishti brings up whether Arshi thought of Siddharth before taking such a drastic step. Arshi shuts her down, asking her not to embarrass her in front of Siddharth. Shrishti steps outside. Siddharth checks in with Arshi, saying he was genuinely worried. Arshi apologizes. He says it's obvious she's still in love with Anirudh, but Arshi insists that's no longer true. Siddharth doesn't buy it. Shubh tells Anirudh to fix things, saying this might be his last shot. Vinayak admits he's completely lost. Shrishti pulls Anirudh aside for a private chat and threatens him. If he ruins his own life, he'll drag Jhanak down with him. Then she walks away. Meanwhile, Arshi tells Siddharth she loves him now and not Anirudh. Anirudh overhears and quietly leaves. He finds Jhanak, who immediately senses something's off. He says a new chapter is beginning. She asks about Arshi's condition. He assures her Arshi is doing fine and even confessed her love to Siddharth. He says he's glad she found someone. Jhanak asks if it hurts. Anirudh says he feels free and happy. He takes her hand. She pulls away, asking him not to expect anything from her. He promises not to pressure her, but says he feels something good is finally coming their way. Jhanak, still unsure, says she doesn't feel that way. Anirudh tells her Arshi will be discharged the next day, and he plans to tell her to go live with Siddharth. Jhanak asks if he won't go to the hospital. He says he'll meet her at home instead. Then he says he wants to live with Jhanak like a real married couple. Jhanak asks him to stop talking like that. Anirudh asks if he doesn't deserve happiness. He wants to know if she'll stay with him. Jhanak replies that if Arshi left him willingly, she would. He doesn't wait for more, he hugs her. The next morning, Anjana checks on Arshi. Arshi asks where Anirudh is. Dadi tells her to rest. Arshi refuses. She says she can't stay in this house if Anirudh isn't with her. She doesn't want to live as a daughter-in-law when he's living with Jhanak. Mrinalini says Anirudh knows his limits and won't do anything to shame the family, but Arshi makes it clear. She's done staying there. October 4th, 2025. The episode starts with Arshi telling the Bose family she has something to say. Tanuja suggests she take a break first, but Arshi insists it can't wait. She drops the bomb. She doesn't want to stay in that house anymore. She says she married Anirudh, and he's nowhere in sight. Shubh tries to calm her down, saying he'll talk to Anirudh, but Arshi makes it clear, nothing's going to fix this. Mrinalini wants to know where Arshi plans to go. Arshi says she can't return to her parents' house. Then Mimi, with her usual knack for drama, asks if she's heading to Siddharth. Anjana tells Mimi to zip it. Mimi doesn't stop. She claims she saw Arshi holding Siddharth's hand. Arshi snaps, calls her a liar. Mimi says she doesn't lie, and even shows a photo she secretly clicked of Arshi and Siddharth at a restaurant. Arshi accuses her of spying. Mimi says it wasn't spying. She happened to be there with friends and caught what she saw as proof. Arshi lashes out, says Anirudh can spend a night with Jhanak, but she can't even grab dinner with Siddharth without being dragged through mud. Shubh tries to reason with her, but Arshi shuts him down, saying he'll never understand her side. Tanuja begs her not to leave. Arshi coldly says she has no ties left with the Bose family. Dadi asks if that means they've become strangers to her. Anjana reminds her that she's still deeply loved in this house. Bupasha throws in a sarcastic jab about how not every husband is like Bablu, who actually listens to his wife. Anjana claps back, saying respect matters in a relationship, but Bupasha wouldn't get that. At another end, Vinayak tells Shrishti that Siddharth acted out of line at the hospital in front of the Boses. Shrishti says she doesn't want Arshi staying with Anirudh. She's sure Siddharth is a good man and wants Arshi to marry him. Vinayak presses her on whether she has a plan. Shrishti says she doesn't, but she believes Arshi should decide what she wants. She wonders aloud why Arshi should still be living with the Bose family. Vinayak walks away. The next day, Siddharth checks on Arshi. She nods, saying she's fine. He wants to know why she made such a big decision. Arshi reminds him she's still Anirudh's wife, but Anirudh humiliated her in front of Jhanak. Siddharth says she can trust him. She replies that she does. He stops the car, confesses his love, and asks if it hurt her to hear it. Arshi shakes her head. He tells her his life won't be complete without her. Arshi says she needs to divorce Anirudh first. Siddharth tells her the process could take 6 months and asks if they can stay together during that time. Arshi says she's decided to leave Anirudh, but not without making him and Jhanak feel the sting of it. She's not planning to walk away quietly. Siddharth urges her to move forward, tells her they'll get married soon. Arshi questions what his family will think. Siddharth says he'll handle them, and until the divorce is final, she can stay with him. He hugs her. Anirudh sees the hug. Siddharth tells Arshi he wants to give her everything and offers to take her inside the restaurant for dinner. Anirudh stands outside, wondering how Arshi has such a problem with his happiness when she already has Siddharth. Later, Anirudh backhugs Jhanak. She tells him to let go. She was waiting for him and gives him some healthy juice. He insists she drinks some too. He tells her no one's ever cared for him like she does. He suggests they hire some help. Janak's doing everything alone. He says they should get married. Jhanak freezes. Anirudh tells her they're in love, and marriage will make things right in society's eyes. Jhanak reminds him he's already married. He tells her he saw Arshi with Siddharth again today. Jhanak says she still thinks Arshi loves him. Anirudh disagrees, says Arshi's done. He tells Jhanak he's not leaving her. When she gets up to bring food, he asks if she's truly happy with him. Jhanak says she's scared of what destiny holds for her. Anirudh assures her this time, their marriage will be real. He says he'll always be with her. Siddharth will make Arshi happy, and Jhanak will make him happy. He kisses her forehead. Jhanak hugs him. October 5th, 2025. This episode starts with Arshi walking into the room and spotting Anirudh. She wastes no time in taunting him. Anirudh calmly says he's just there to grab his clothes. Arshi eyes him suspiciously and asks if he's planning to move back in. She says talking to him disgusts her. Anirudh tells her that if she's that uncomfortable, she doesn't have to live with him anymore. Arshi snaps that she'll leave his house, but she won't let him live in peace either. Anirudh urges her to think about her own happiness instead of stirring more drama. Arshi lashes out, asking how he can shamelessly stay with Jhanak while still being legally married. Anirudh doesn't flinch. He says he isn't ashamed and adds that she's not exactly innocent either. He even hints that he knows something went down between her and Siddharth. Arshi gets defensive and says she did nothing wrong. Anirudh isn't blaming her. He just wants them both to stop fighting and move on. He suggests she can be happy with Siddharth, and he can find his peace with Jhanak. Arshi accuses him of planning to bring Jhanak home. Anirudh says he doesn't need a specific house to be with her. He'll stay with Jhanak wherever he wants. Arshi throws back that he can't marry Jhanak unless she gives him a divorce. Anirudh tells her their marriage is already broken, and she knows it too. He warns her that Siddharth won't wait around forever. Arshi blames him for starting all this. Anirudh questions why she didn't walk away earlier. She claims she'll be happy with Siddharth and insists Anirudh won't find happiness with Jhanak. He simply replies that if she ends up happy, that's enough for him. When she asks what he really wants, Anirudh says all he ever wanted was for both of them to find happiness. He's convinced Arshi does love Siddharth. Elsewhere, Babla visits Appu at her place. Appu shares that Anirudh left the house because of Arshi. She says she misses Anirudh and Jhanak and wishes she could see them again. On the other side of the story, Dottie is worried that Lalan hasn't returned yet. Lalan, meanwhile, runs into Kajal and asks her why she's been avoiding his house. Kajal tells him she's busy and doesn't see the point of visiting daily. Lalan reminds her of what she said once, that she felt like ending her life. Kajal shuts him down and asks why that even matters to him. Lalan says she's someone the girls in the busty look up to. She's educated, built a life for herself. Kajal tells him to stop following her and just go. Dottie overhears this and starts believing Lalan has feelings for Kajal. Back home, Mrinalini notices Choton and wonders why he didn't leave for his exam. Choton, on the other hand, doesn't want to tell her that he still plans to go. Mrinalini brings it up anyway and reminds him about the exam. Choton brushes her off. Mrinalini tells him he's changed, and Choton admits that life forced him to. He says maybe marrying her was a mistake. Mrinalini is crushed. She says he's shattered all her dreams and proven he never loved her. Choton says if that's what she believes, fine. Let's call it the truth. Mrinalini asks what he really wants. Choton accuses her of thinking uneducated people are fools and says his self-respect has taken a beating. Mrinalini says she only ever asked him to study. He doesn't want to argue and asks her to let it go. Mrinalini tells him to go back to his friends and gossip like he always does. Choton says he only goes out to avoid their constant fights. She tells him to stay put and that she'll leave the house instead. He says he won't stop her if that's what she's decided. Mrinalini calls him a fool and says she regrets ever trying to change him. Choton calmly says at least she's finally admitting it. He asks her to walk away from his life. Mrinalini is heartbroken, and after their fight, she regrets everything she said. She still loves him deeply. Bipasha meets Sarveshwar. He confronts her, accusing her of betraying him. Arshi suddenly says she doesn't want a divorce anymore. Anirudh tells her he heard everything she said to Siddharth at the hospital. He makes it clear that he wants to be with Jhanak now. Arshi asks if his parents would ever accept Jhanak. Anirudh admits they won't. That's why he'll live with her elsewhere. Arshi finally agrees to the divorce and declares that Siddharth is a far better man than Anirudh. She believes she deserves someone like him. Anirudh doesn't disagree. Arshi confesses that what really hurt her was Anirudh's betrayal. He gently says it's time to stop fighting and let go. Arshi fires back, saying she'll prove she can be perfectly happy without him. She says he means nothing to her now. Anirudh says he truly hopes she stays happy, then walks away with his bag, leaving Arshi behind. That's a wrap for the first week. See you in the next. Much love.